You don't mind if I ramble a little bit, do you? I know you're trying to fit a nap in. No? Okay. I didn't have a very eventful day today. I woke up and I made myself some dry cereal. I watched YouTube. I went outside eventually and I exercised. I came inside and then the day just kind of faded away. Everything was very monotonous. And in that monotony, if I'm even using that correctly, I had a lot of time to think to myself. Most of it was really nothing, just some retrospectives about, well, nothing. But I wound up sifting through my closet at some point. And as you know, I am currently in my childhood town. Every time I walk outside and talk to my neighbors, I feel like I'm draped in this veil of nostalgia. And everything feels like that. So while going through my closet, I found this old plushie. It wasn't the particular plushie that I wound up thinking of, but it was old enough for me to start thinking about the past and about the way I behaved when I was much younger. And while holding this soft, kind little whale that I had named Shark, I thought about this Bubbles doll that I had at some point. I couldn't have been any older than 7 or 8. It was back in this time where you had these soft Cabbage Patch-like dolls that had the batteries in their backs that once they'd lost energy, they started to distort their voices. And this doll that I had had for quite some time. I had vandalized it with a dry erase marker. I had drew on her eyes and her mouth, painted her black and red and any other color I could find. And in some way, I dug a hole for myself. At some point, this combination of vandalization, her distorted voice, her being so disfigured with her empty eyes, I grew so afraid of it. I was terrified of this doll at some point. I'd leave it in my closet at some point, and I didn't touch it anymore. I thought that if I moved it or disturbed it, I'd make it more angry than it already was. And I shaped my life around pleasing this little doll. I changed the way I eat, the way I interacted with the people around me, the way I went to daycare, and I would have nightmares. I would have nightmares the days that I thought that I had displeased it. And it haunted me. Its little vandalized face with these markers had become veins, membranes that pulsated. And the more that it stayed, the more fearful of it that I became, the more that I started to do things that would please it, that would make this doll any less angry than it already was at me. I couldn't touch it. I couldn't speak to it. I couldn't disturb it. For a solid year, I didn't open that closet. And it wasn't until my mom eventually went in my closet and threw her away did this fear eventually go away. And when she did, I cried. I don't think it was relief. I think it was fear. That my mom had disturbed it and she was an extension of me. And because of that, I would suffer. But I couldn't explain that to my mom, obviously. I couldn't explain to her that over the course of a year I had started to worship this little doll in my closet, that I had lived every single one of those days in constant fear of displeasing this God that lived in my closet. All I could do was sit there and cry. But she threw it away. The garbage man eventually came and took it off, and slowly but surely did my life return to normal. I was back to being a regular 7-year-old again, and that experience had faded in the back of my mind to obscurity. But today, while picking up that little plushy whale, I was engorged with fear. A stale but very present fear that had laid dormant in me for quite some time. And yeah, but other than that, I had McDonald's for the first time today, which I remember nuggets being much more enjoyable than they were. Like, they were cardboard like, and the only way I could enjoy it was with barbecue sauce. And I was very upset with that. But that was it. Sorry. Oh my God, I have been talking for so long. I hope you enjoy your nap. Good night.